This was not a good night for the president. Everything he touched was a loser. Trump hasn't been this embarrassed since he found out there was a Donald Trump Jr. If you're tired of all the losing, fear not, he's got an excuse.
In defiance of the Constitution. You know, he's selling things from the office. He's taking money and gifts from other countries, the emoluments clause. He's breaking every law and every rule that we have in our country, and no one seems to be able to.
He is scared, he is panicked, and once again, he shut down the White House to the press. He kicked all the media out as soon as he got horrible news yesterday that both the James Comey and Letitia James indictment were dismissed by a federal judge after Trump got more bad news about the disastrous direction of the economy after Donald Trump got more.
There are feuds, and then there are Donald Trump feuds. And when it comes to the longest, most brutal, most publicly documented destruction of a con man's reputation, nothing comes close to what Rosie O'Donnell and Jimmy Kimmel have done to Trump over nearly 2 decades. This isn't just about insults thrown back and forth on television. This is about 2 entertainers who called out Trump's fraud, his corruption, and his authoritarian tendencies years before anyone else was paying attention.
Was told by ABC that his show was canceled. No, they weren't. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there.
People saying, I'm canceling my trip to Disney, I'm canceling my Hulu, my Disney Plus. $4 billion in 4 days. Bravo, America. And this is how much power we have. And don't let them tell you we don't.
Ukraine actually showing what strength through actual power means. Donald Trump is showing utter weakness. So let me just show you the moment where on right-wing media, on this MAGA channel right here called RSBN, they basically find out that Trump has shut down the White House to the press. And they're like, I think he was supposed to talk to us, but I guess he's...
And they've paid the price for it. Trump has tried to silence them, threatened to revoke Rosie's citizenship, gotten Kimmel suspended from his show, and obsessed over them in ways that prove exactly how effective they've been. Let me break down the entire story of how Rosie O'Donnell and Jimmy Kimmel exposed Donald Trump on live television, why Trump has never recovered from it, and why their coordinated resistance matters more than ever in 2025. December 2006, when Rosie started the war. The origin story begins on December 20th, 2006.
You to know the number, and Trump's name appears 2,020 times. 2020. Wasn't that also the year they stole the election from him? That is an unlucky number.
Anyway, long story short, Trump went to sue CBS, isn't that right?
Yes, because of an interview on 60 Minutes where he didn't like the way he was edited or that Kamala Harris was edited.
So even though the legal team thought he'd win, they still paid out the $16 million, and Stephen Colbert basically said it was a bribe.
Which it was.
Shut it down to the press. Here, play this clip.
It's about to be 5 o'clock on the East Coast. As of right now, it's still closed press at the White House. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the broadcast at this point. That's the directive I've received. So we're going to do that.
And then before, I guess they fully uncovered that Trump was not going to speak to the press at all because Donald Trump was having a panic attack and he was, probably throwing ketchup all around, right? Hide the ketchup, everybody. They were like, we think he's going to sign an executive order about healthcare and maybe that's what he's going to do. But it's shut off to the press. Here, let's play this other one right here.
We know that the president will be signing executive orders today. We're hearing that it's about healthcare. However, right now, as you see at the bottom, I believe it says, it just says covering the latest, but we do have a closed press currently for that Oval Office meeting for that executive order signing. So that means no press will be airing this live.
So one of the things that went down as well is that Donald Trump, everything he does is just like erratic. It's not planned. It's not well thought out. Well, he was apparently going to announce a healthcare plan, the one that he's been promising.
Donald Trump was still primarily known as a reality TV host and real estate developer. Miss USA winner Tara Conner had been caught with drug use, underage drinking, and other scandals. Trump, as co-owner of the Miss USA pageant, held a press conference to announce he was giving Conner a second chance. Rosie O'Donnell, then a co-host on The View, watched that press conference and saw right through it. She went on live television and absolutely destroyed Trump's hypocrisy.
Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? Who puts the network in jeopardy? You hear that? There's the threat again. This time straight from FCC Biscuit's mouth. He goes, he says, I think we're gonna test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Only Donald Trump would try to prove he wasn't threatening ABC by threatening ABC.
Well, he is a cruel, criminal, and mentally unstable man. And Duty to Warn was a book that came out when he was first in office. Psychiatrists across the country who don't ever really diagnose people that they don't serve personally came together and made a book, Duty to Warn, to tell the world what a narcissistic, mentally ill person.
He annoys me on a multitude of levels, Rosie said on The View. He's the moral authority. Left the first wife, had an affair. Left the second wife, had an affair. Had kids both times. But he's the moral compass for 20-year-olds in America. Donald, sit and spin, my friend. Then came the line that Trump has never forgiven her for. Rosie called him a snake oil salesman and pointed out he wasn't a self-made man, but someone who inherited wealth from his father. Trump's response? He called her a woman out of control and threatened to sue her. He told People magazine,
"It's worse every day. I feel like we're in a dystopian nightmare and no one is doing anything about it. I don't understand how he's able to get away with the things he gets away with, breaking the law, the emoluments clause, taking bribes, blackmailing people. He's a criminal con man. And if you grew up in New York, as I did, you knew this your whole life. We watched his planes get repossessed off the runway at LaGuardia. We watched him try to sell steaks and cologne in a fake university, steal money from charities that his family can't even have a charity anymore in New York City, in the New York State, because they had stolen money from kids' cancer charities. There's no way you can look at the facts about this man and believe in him still. You have to have willful blindness. It's worse every day.
Rosie will rue the words she said. I'll most likely sue her for making those false statements, and it'll be fun. Rosie's a loser, a real loser. I look forward to taking lots of money from my nice fat little Rosie. And that's when the nearly 20-year war began. Because Rosie had exposed something Trump couldn't stand. The truth about who he really was. If you're ready to see how two comedians have systematically destroyed Trump's credibility for almost 2 decades, hit that subscribe button right now because we're documenting every brutal moment.
It's a Democrat hoax, and the reason he refused to sign an executive order to release the files months ago is because it's a waste of time. And that's the thing about Donald Trump. This is not a man who wastes time on nonsense.
We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House.
This is an executive order relating to the use of paper straws.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
He was thinking about extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies, the Obamacare subsidies, for about 18 months, perhaps 2 years, which, by the way, wouldn't have been a bad thing. Like, that would have been a good thing if he made that announcement. But then all of these MAGA Republicans in the House and Senate revolted, and more of them threatened to resign. They said, you make this announcement, Donald, because we've been out there saying that we're here to kill Obamacare because that's what you said we're going to do.
January 2007, Trump appears on Kimmel's show. Just weeks after the View incident, Donald Trump appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live on January 16, 2007, and Kimmel didn't hold back. The interview became a defining moment because Kimmel repeatedly joked about Rosie O'Donnell, knowing it would get under Trump's skin. Trump called Rosie disgusting and discussed his childish feud with her while Kimmel mocked him to his face. During the show, Kimmel even introduced a comedy sketch featuring a Rosie O'Donnell look-alike considering defacing Trump's Walk of Fame star with meatballs. Think about that.
Have you been enjoying Trump's most ridiculous distraction from the Epstein files yet? The president claims he's the victim of a triple sabotage during his visit to the United Nations building in New York on Tuesday. The teleprompter wasn't working, there were issues with the sound system, and most nefariously of all, his escalator stopped.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciate it. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Right? That's why the MAGA Republicans shut the government down in the first place. They're like, we're going to resign and good luck. You're going to have Speaker Hakeem Jeffries. So then Donald Trump pulled back the announcement and then shut it down to the press. So here's what happened on CNN, where they are told he's going to go and speak to the press, right? He's going to go and announce this plan, this executive order that maybe would have extended the Obamacare subsidies. By the way, it still would have had to have been passed by Congress, but this would have been a good development. And then all of a sudden they're like, nope, he's actually canceled it.
In 2007, Jimmy Kimmel was already using his platform to side with Rosie and mock Trump's obsession with her. Trump sat there, smiled through it, and pretended to be in on the joke. But the damage was done. Kimmel had aligned himself with Rosie's assessment. Trump was a fraud, a bully, and someone whose ego couldn't handle being called out by a woman. The Twitter wars, 2011 to 2014. Over the next several years, Trump's obsession with Rosie only grew.
He's a very unwell man.
Yeah, I agree.
In many ways, physically and mentally. The president's saying that I'm a threat to humanity.
Yeah.
That's the president of the United States.
Saying that, yeah.
Now, when our feud started some 20-something years ago, he was a joke of a reality show guy that nobody respected or took seriously. He is a very unwell man.
Yeah, I agree.
In many ways, physically and mentally.
Donald Trump seemed to be the only one who was unhappy last night as the stars of the MAGAverse descended to party in New Hampshire. Stars including the Klan mom herself.
Nikki Haley was defeated. The problem is she's going to be dumb enough and she's going to be a fake candidate and she's going to keep going and we're going to destroy her in South Carolina.
He couldn't let it go. He kept attacking her on Twitter, proving exactly what both Rosie and Kimmel had been saying. He was thin-skinned, petty, and incapable of moving past any perceived slight. In December 2011, when Rosie announced her engagement to Michelle Rounds, Trump tweeted, "I feel sorry for Rosie's new partner in love, whose parents are devastated at the thought of their daughter being with Rosie, a true loser." Rosie responded by calling him an ass.
It's worse every day. I feel like we're in a dystopian nightmare and no one is doing anything about it. I don't understand how he's able to get away with the things he gets away with, breaking the law, the emoluments clause, taking bribes, blackmailing people. He's a criminal con man. And if you grew up in New York, as I did, you knew this your whole life. We watched his planes get repossessed off the runway at LaGuardia. We watched him try to sell steaks and cologne in a fake university, steal money from charities that his family can't even have a charity anymore in New York City, in the New York State, because they had stolen money from kids' cancer charities. There's no way you can look at the facts about this man and believe in him still. You have to have willful blindness.
While Donald Trump is hiding in the Oval Office yesterday, he then announced late last night that he's going to be leaving Washington, D.C. tonight. Right? So yesterday he shuts down the Oval Office, kicks out the press. He's frantic, probably throwing ketchup. I don't know that for a fact, but probably. I don't know. But then he announces late last night that tonight he's leaving. He will be in Florida on the taxpayer dime. He'll be golfing. Who knows? Maybe he'll do some Great Gatsby themed parties. Maybe there will be half-naked women dancing in martini glasses. Who knows? Maybe the slogan will be...
In May 2012, Trump tweeted that Rosie was, like Cher, a total loser. But then something unexpected happened. In August 2012, Rosie suffered a heart attack. And Trump, perhaps realizing how bad his constant attacks looked, tweeted, "Rosie, get better fast. I'm starting to miss you." Rosie was shocked. She responded, "Well, thank you, Donald. I must admit her post was a bit of a shock. Are you trying to kill me?" The momentary ceasefire didn't last.
Can you explain to me, though? I cannot believe that every Republican congressman or woman, every Republican senator is stupid.
Well, they're not stupid, but they're definitely afraid of him. People in America are afraid of him. They're afraid to stand up to him, against him, because, and when I did on The View in 2006, I remember Joy Behar saying, you're not going to say that.
By 2014, when Rosie returned to The View, Trump was back to attacking her, calling her show a total disaster, and predicting it would fail. August 2015, only Rosie O'Donnell. Fast forward to August 6th, 2015, the first Republican presidential primary debate. Donald Trump was center stage, and Fox News moderator Megyn Kelly was about to ask him the toughest question of the night.
Smithereens, and says it was ratings that got me fired. Has anyone ever been fired for bad ratings on a Wednesday? This was his big closer. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. And he does know bad ratings. He has some of the worst ratings any president has ever had. So, on behalf of all of us, welcome to the crappy ratings club, Mr. President. Next, he'll try to sue us. And I want to say good luck with that, because we thought about it, we packed the courts, and we have a surprise ace up our sleeve, Mr. Judge Steve Harvey. That's right.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals, Kelly began. Before she could finish, Trump interrupted, only Rosie O'Donnell. The audience erupted in laughter and applause. Trump smiled smugly and wagged his finger in the air. He thought he'd delivered a perfect punchline, but Kelly wasn't having it. For the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell, she said, pointing out his long history of misogynistic comments.
Well, he is a cruel, criminal, and mentally unstable man. And Duty to Warn was a book that came out when he was first in office. Psychiatrists across the country who don't ever really diagnose people that they don't serve personally came together and made a book, Duty to Warn, to tell the world what a narcissistic, mentally ill person he is.
A little party never killed nobody, maybe some synchronized swimming. They could flaunt their money while Donald Trump makes the American people suffer. And suffer indeed is what's happening in the United States. Let me just show you what's going down. Headlines from the past 24 hours from the Washington Post. More Americans are getting their power shut off as unpaid bills pile up. Average electricity costs have risen 11% since January, more than 3 times the rate of inflation. For the first time, we're behind on all our utilities, one Ohioan said. But that's probably what all Americans are saying right now, because those electricity prices are so freaking expensive right now. I know when I get them.
Trump responded by claiming the problem in America was political correctness, and that what he says is fun and kidding. Rosie responded on Twitter less than 20 minutes later, "Try explaining that to your kids." Think about that moment. Trump was running for president of the United States, and his defense against accusations of sexism was to double down on attacking a woman he'd been feuding with for 9 years. He couldn't help himself. The obsession was real, and Jimmy Kimmel was watching.
Got 2 of them. He wrote, Trump wasn't on the ballot and shutdown were the 2 reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight. Now, if Republicans had won and he wasn't on the ballot, would he take credit for that? Oh, yes, he definitely would, but he lost. And then he posted this. He posted, "And so it begins," which was either a response to Mamdani winning the mayoral race, or he just said.
And then we have the apparent attempted assassination of Trump, which is also, very disturbing and very upsetting that I heard J.D. Vance talking about the left has to settle down their rhetoric. This is all the right's rhetoric. This is not the left's rhetoric. This is what you did, J.D. Vance, with the Haitians. That's what you did, and Donald Trump did. Just like when he picked out 2 black women and accused them of cheating in the election and ruined their lives. Remember that?